Hey everybody, just getting some invites going. Hope everyone's having a fantastic beginning of your week so far. Just doing some invites. We have an open panel as always. And I'll get to today's topic in a minute here. Just gonna wait for some people to come on in. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday, like I said. Okay, here we go. Almost done. All right, just about finished here. Okay, so first of all, we got a panel over here if anyone wants to jump in. Nice to see everybody. So far, so good. Okay, so this topic is going to be about how Gypsy Rose Blanchard recently has retracted her book about it being about the book being written for her daughter, and now she basically has dedicated the book to anyone that resonates with her story or Munchausen by proxy. You know what I mean? Just something with a blanket statement. Was Dan 30? I have to look up Dan's age again. I believe he was in his 30s or 40s, maybe. I think he might have been in his 40s, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was significantly older. Yeah, I think maybe there has been new jailhouse phone calls between. If there's a new there's a Gypsy Rose page where there was a FOIA request sent out. There's some jail call phone calls between Gypsy and Ken, and they're kind of weird. I mean, they're kind of cringy. Like there's one where they're sort of breaking up. You could tell this is all done behind Ryan's back. Like she's 100% with Ryan and still professing her love to Ken. But is anyone surprised about that? Yeah. But you know what I mean? As soon as I'm hearing this, I'm like, she's just like, I wanted to be with you. I loved you. Why'd you break up with me? It's like, obviously she's saying this while she's with Ryan. It's so dead obvious. And then she's sitting there lying to Ryan. Oh, I haven't talked to him in months. I haven't said nothing. And then remember when she was on the phone like 12 days from their whatever little jailhouse wedding. And she's like, oh, by the way, I talked to him 3 weeks ago. It's like, yeah, you're dealing with a pathological liar. What else were you expecting? But anyways, who wants to come up in the panel and join? We could talk about this. If someone don't make me pick one here. Come on up. Don't be shy. Invite yourself. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I did listen to the jail phone calls a couple times, and again, the baby voice is firing on all cylinders. It's just like it's so fake and so cringe. It's just like, again, you could tell like she uses this ridiculous voice as as like some pseudo manipulation method. I don't know who buys into this, but it's just like, my God, it's just like how she was able to get over on the justice system with this crap. You know, when I first really heard the baby voice, besides the jail phone call to Christy to Rod and Christy, is when she's standing in front of the judge and he's just saying, like, to recite her address. She's like, 2103 Volunteer Way in Springfield, Missouri. It's like she sounds like a 90-year-old like chicken that's shaking like really cold or something. It's really bizarre and weird. And you could tell she's just doing that to try to seem like she's this like little childish wilting kid flower thing and she wouldn't hurt a fly. It's just like, again. But once those FOIAs are shown and she's, again, it's just like you see her like dancing and doing all this crazy like belly dance. Like that's what she was doing at her mother's house. She was doing all this crazy belly dancing, naked picture stuff. She admitted to taking naked pictures when she was like 15, and she was sending it to scrubby internet men, probably married ones, because she had an affinity for older men, and she was chasing around Dan Glidewell. And there's like 4 different stories that she gave as to the whole. I ran away and my mom came and got me. It's just like, yeah, they came and got her because his friends called Dee Dee and said, yo, come get your girl. But she wants to give this story out like her mom just found her in the middle of the night and forced her to come back. It's like, no, actually her mom wanted her medication and money back. Her daughter took money and took her narcotics. That's the whole reason she was mostly finding her. She's like, you can do whatever you want. I just want my medication back and I want my money back. No, it's not a belly dance. It's a cringe dance. It's whatever she was trying to do, and it wasn't very effective. So, it's just once again, but that's what she was doing. She was taking naked pictures. She was sitting there doing these ridiculous dances and sending them to scrubby internet men. But she's going to sit there and act like she was so sheltered, didn't have access to anyone, didn't talk to anyone, couldn't have friends, couldn't have a boyfriend, could have nothing. Meanwhile, she's on there doing whatever she wants, and she's doing it right in the living room of all places. It's like, if you feared your mom so much, even if she was out doing something, wouldn't you fear she might come home and see you doing that? Obviously, that didn't enter her mind. She seems pretty confident in those videos. So once again, it's like you look at that demeanor and you look at the way that she's behaving in those videos, and she doesn't have any fear. There's nothing going on in that. Again, this is all a bunch of fluffer stuff that her lawyer, Mike Stanfield, had basically put into her head falsely. So that's basically what it is. And she's ran with that narrative ever since, because she knows the mainstream media is willing to run along with it, and all the major players. I am very eager to see how the Pretend podcast comes out. I know like little bits and pieces are coming out, but I can't wait for that thing to come out from beginning to end. I'm hoping he got Gypsy to he got her to agree to that, because again, I love the guy's bio. He interviews con artists and people that basically use manipulation tactics. And of course, he probably told Gypsy like, "Oh, it's going to be about your mom, and you're the whatever. Hey, Mo." But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like she's sitting there basically, "Hey, guys, open panel, come on in." But yeah, she's basically, well, first of all, like I said, she's retracted that whole, "Oh, this book is for my daughter" thing to no. It's just for whoever resonates with my story, because she got backlash about that book, because why would you dedicate a book of smut to your daughter and want her to read it? I mean, have you guys read that book? It's got like graphic schmexual stuff in it. And why you would want your own daughter to read that is ridiculous. And then she just said to the guy on Pretend podcast, and I covered this on one of my videos yesterday, that she basically was bragging to him about teenagers and even some kids as young as 10 approaching her. 10 years old. And she thinks this is a flex. She thinks this is something to be like bragging about and to be proud of. It's like, dude, it's like, I didn't need to hear any more after that. I almost threw my phone. I'm like, this is disgusting. Absolutely, it's P3DO stuff. I mean, imagine if I got on here and it was just like, "Hey guys, it's just like, I'm a convicted schmurder and I'm bragging about 10-year-olds coming up to, stop me in the mall and stop me in public." It's like, I think people would be looking at me sideways, and people are looking at Gypsy sideways. And again, it's like, if you're going to get on the internet in a podcast and just sit there and not only admit to that, and she's trying to be humble, like, "Oh, I understand why people think I'm such a huge celebrity," but really she's bragging about it. She's like, people are like, "Oh my God, there she is. Oh my God, there she is." It's just like, you love this, Gypsy. Don't act like you're humble. You're not. You are absolutely soliciting this type of thing. 100%. And we got someone coming in. Hello, Katie.
Hello. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. And if you just came in, yeah, I just did a video on, I just saw someone left it in my comments actually, that now her book she got rid of the whole "this is dedicated to my daughter" thing, and now it's, "Oh, this is just dedicated to whoever resonates with my story," and Munchausen by proxy victims or something stupid.
The fuck? Where did you hear this at? So she's changed her
I gotta make a disclaimer. My last live got shut down because of foul language, so please watch the language.
Okay, so what the heck? Where did you hear this from?
Well, someone left it in my comment section that her book, My Time to Stand, has it at the end now, that she took out the part that she was dedicating this to her daughter. I believe she said this herself. I forget exactly where, but there was a part of this where I think she said it, I forget which interview or where she did it, where she said that this was if my daughter does read it, I'm going to make sure she's 18 years old or something stupid like that. Once again, walking back on, now she's walking back on the whole thing. She took it out of the book, or someone took it out of the book, where now it doesn't say "to my daughter Aurora," whatever it said at the end. Now, because I showed both, excerpts in the video. So if you guys want to watch that video.
She is such a freaking joke, I swear. And then like these phone calls have been recently leaked. I don't know if you heard those yet.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to the full one yet.
I'm sorry to say this about Ken, but he sounds like such a fruitcake. It's just like, my God. I'm like, this guy, you know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
No, there isn't. But again, it's like Gypsy has to be in denial or something. It's like, a lot of people were talking about that beard situation where, like, basically Gypsy is his beard as like a cover-up kind of thing, just to kind of stay in the closet or whatever. And I 100% believe that.
Right. No, I haven't really, like, listened to the full call yet, and I think I did one of them. I just couldn't comprehend it yet because I
Thank you
was
very much.
busy at the time. But eventually, I'm gonna sit down and listen to the full calls because yeah, what the oh goodness. I was just listening to the one with Christy actually. I only
Uh,
listened to the one I seen on TikTok. It said the full one's on YouTube. I'll have to go listen to the one on YouTube, but that is concerning because she's talking about Dan and wow, just wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, once again, though, thank you, Grandma. It's just one of those, or Grandma's babies. It's one of those. I don't know. It's like the Dan Glidewell story has. I put. You know, you've been watching my like debunk series, or if you've been watching my debunk series, I go through the Dan Glidewell situation. I think has the most contradictions because she's told like 4 or 5 different stories with different details in them about how her mom found out through which phone she was using. First, it was her mom's phone, then it was her phone falling out of the backpack. Then it was I was using my mom's phone, and that's how she knew where it was. And then it went to Dan's friends called her. That's how she knew. Again, it's crazy, like how many different stories that she told with the Dan Glidewell thing. It's like okay, it goes from she found out through text to his friend his friend again, like when we all found out the truth, and that it turns out that his friends his friends called Dee Dee to come get her. Then she had to change the story again, like, oh yeah. They knew my mom from the convention, so that's why they called her. She had to change it as we were finding out information because
True Crime with Mo said, I think her whole motive was to frame Nick, hence the only one
one
bus
ticket.
ticket so she could be with Dan. You know what? That makes the
Absolutely.
most sense. Yeah.
Absolutely,
That's what,
absolutely. And you know
yeah.
what? And when Dan said, "Get out of here," and he's just like, "Forget it," that's when she went with Nick. Is when basically Dan said, not here," and off she went with
Nick
Nick.
was her backup plan.
Yeah, Nick was like her plan B, so to speak. But
But
yeah,
I
there was
mean,
only one ticket in the story.
she had every intention on pinning this all on Nick
Yeah,
and getting off of it somehow. Like she had every intentions on Nick getting in more trouble than her.
yeah.
That's why
Well,
she
yeah. I
wanted
mean,
somebody to help her.
well, yeah, the first thing that she did, like when the beans were spilled, was the first thing she did was made sure that she threw Nick under the bus as much as possible. Oh, he can get help for his violent ways. It's like Gypsy again. It's like you know her. As soon as I saw her do when they told her mom was unalive, she thought she was going to be able to get out of this by just talking about Voldemort, uh, Disney World, and Harry Potter the whole time. She thought she just talks about kid stuff the whole time and Magic Kingdom and being on a sugar high. They're just gonna forget why she's even there, and they're just gonna be like, okay, well it's getting late, you can go. It's like, did you think again? It just shows what she is. It's like she 100% knew why she was there. She just was doing everything to make sure she could either stall the police or she can just, oh yeah, the word Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer person. It's just like, yeah, okay. But anyways, like, but it's just like as soon as she goes into that Pee Wee Herman mode where she's like you know what I mean, with like when they're saying like she had involvement or whatever, but like which is like when they're like your mom's been unalive, she's like wait, whoa. It's like as soon as I heard that, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, dude, it's just like
That's what
she's
I'm saying. Like
such a bad liar.
dude, it's like I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. Like I'm laughing in like a sarcastic way because it's like what a joke.
I
Because
know.
she can just change her like behavior within a flip of a freaking switch. Like she is
I know.
so good at manipulating, and that's not her mom's fault. She blames it on her mom. People blame it on her mom. That's
It's
not her mom's
convenient.
fault.
It's
It's the
convenient
fact
to blame the dead.
that
It's very
she
convenient to
knew
blame the
right from
deceased person.
wrong.
Yeah,
She knew right from wrong.
it's very convenient that she's just going to blame her victim and a deceased person that can't come up and defend themselves. It's very easy and convenient to do that. When she couldn't blame Nick anymore, it was time to blame Dee Dee for everything. So again, is anyone surprised? It's everybody but her. It's everybody but her. That's how Gypsy's always been. Every problem she has, every little situation that she creates herself, it's someone else's fault, or there's some outside force doing it, or someone made her do it. It's like there's no accountability with her, and
Oh,
she
you know what?
wonders why the public.
That's a good way to put it, Alyssa. You said then when he asked about her medications, she says maybe you can call my mom and ask. What the freak? That
I
is
mean,
sick.
again,
That is sick. Diabolical.
I mean, that's one reason why Dee Dee went to Dan Glidewell's was not so much to take Gypsy back, but because Gypsy took her medication and money. She's like, I want my meds, hand them back. Why do you think she had the lock on the cabinet? It wasn't because she just locked it for no reason. She was locking to keep Gypsy out of it. Gypsy wanted the good stuff. And again, like she blames her whole brownie video on rugs. you know, what I mean, I'm familiar with those medications, not because I take them or anything, but you know, I was a CNA in Wisconsin, so
You know
I was
what?
in nursing
I
school.
don't give a crap whether she was on rugs or not. There's
She wasn't.
nothing that justifies that,
No,
okay?
she was. You know, let me tell you something, because like you know, she when she was in the interrogation room, if she was really like hooked on those drugs as much as she said she was, like the worst like withdrawal symptoms come from benzodiazepines and opiates, and it's like she was doing both of them according to her, and she didn't even seem like she was agitated or even like feeling the least bit ill. She was just laying around comfortable and fine, laying on the couch, talking giddy and happy. It's like, you know what I mean? There was like no, you know, what I mean, she didn't say anything about feeling sick or I've done detoxing or nothing. It was just like, you know, she might have taken those things once in a while, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's just like she wasn't like, you know, so hooked on them. She didn't know what she was doing. And secondly, from what I understand of those medications, you're like, you feel floaty, you could barely talk, you nod off. It's like, you know, with her and Nick in that hotel room, they're laughing, they're energetic, they're giddy, they're talkative, they're like really uppity. It's like, I heard, like, you're not like that on those rugs. I don't know who she thinks she's fooling. Especially, she told that to Dr. Phil, oh, I was just really high that night. It's just like, no, you weren't. It's just, again, like, none of it's
Paradise
ever her fault.
says
Oh, blame the rugs, blame Nick, blame some outside force, blame Java the Hutt, you know, blame Dee Dee, blame whoever, everyone but her.
Paradise said Dee Dee knew Gypsy was an evil psycho. Oh, absolutely. I believe that Dee Dee was
Sure.
scared of Gypsy.
She probably, I
And
mean, you know,
that's
she was looking
possible.
on the last Google searches that we have for Dee Dee. It's her looking up shelters for young women and, you know, women's shelters and stuff like that. You think she was looking that up for herself? First of all, Dee Dee's not even a
No.
woman. She was looking it up for Gypsy, but Gypsy's going to sit there and try to claim that
And
I
that's
couldn't
why
escape my
Gypsy
mom. My mom,
retaliated.
I mean,
That's
that
why
right there
Gypsy
says,
retaliated.
right, this has nothing to do with Gypsy not being able to escape her situation. First of all she would have had to do is call her father. She could have called a friend. She could have called a neighbor. She could have gone to the police station in the chair and jumped out of it and said, look, I can walk perfectly fine. She had like a million, I could think of like 200 ways outside of Schmurder that you could have gotten something done. Like, you know, and she didn't even attempt. Her saying she left the house one time for Dan Glidewell's and you know Dee Dee came and got her. She left with Dee Dee because Dan didn't want her there.
Well, she admits in the video diary that she could, like, she basically, like, insinuated that if she wanted to, she could tell the neighbors. However, she didn't want to tell anyone because she doesn't want to be called a liar.
Right. No, I understand. Well, again, but her lies were so out in the open. And again, it's like she admits to Nick on the phone that her mom's not going to be giving her too many more chances because she keeps screwing things up, and she had to apologize for taking naked pictures at like age 15 and stuff like
Yeah,
this.
and the whole money thing.
This is the gypsy that Dee Dee was dealing with. You know, you have a out of control
Yes.
teenager
Out of control.
that's taken naked pictures of her, sending it to greasy old men of who knows what ages they were. Probably most of them married and over the age of 30 or 40. And you know what I mean? Just getting involved with ridiculous situations that no parent want their kid involved with. And I guarantee Dee Dee had to suffer years of this. So you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
Stephanie,
just
I think so too. I think that, yeah, I think so too, Stephanie. Read Stephanie's comment.
let me
It
see.
says, I think Dee Dee was about to kick her out,
Yeah,
and that's why
absolutely.
Gypsy unalived
I mean,
her.
why do you think those Google searches on Dee Dee's phone say that she was looking up shelters and stuff? I think Dee Dee had it up to here with her and was about to, against the opposite. It's not that she couldn't leave. I think it's because she was being asked to leave, and she's like, you know what? She's like, I want that
I'm
house, that
entitled to
car.
this. I'm entitled to
Right. She's like, you're
everything.
gonna kick me out? No, we're gonna get rid of you. And that's basically what she
Dude,
did.
that's,
But that's
just
one of many. I don't think she had just one motive. I think she had true hatred for her mother
me
at the same
too.
time.
Me too.
I
Well,
think it was true
I
hatred. I
think
mean,
that
the BB pew pew thing and the dagger thing. It's like there's more than one incident where she's tried to take her mom out herself.
here's
So
my thing. I think that a lot of it had to do with greed, but I also agree with you, Justyn, with the hatred thing. But here's my thing. I don't think that she necessarily like hated her. I think that she looked at her mom as a burden because her mom was really sick.
she
She
was
wasn't she
exactly.
wasn't in good
She wasn't the
physical
Incredible Hulk that
health
was chaining her to
condition.
the wall or whatever the heck she was saying. There's
And
none of that.
Gypsy, she didn't want to leave and go pay her own way, but she also didn't want to have the responsibility of taking care of anyone.
Right.
Therefore, that's why I think she got rid of her mom.
I agree. I agree. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just one of
So,
those things where yeah. Go ahead.
dearly, dearly beloved.
Hello.
Yep.
So, you want to add to the conversation?
Oh, did you mean to come up?
I didn't. Sorry about that, guys.
You,
I'm walking my
very good.
dog while I'm listening to you guys, and I hit the wrong button. But
That's okay.
hi.
Okay.
Hi, bye.
Did you want to jump down, or do you want to stay on the panel?
I can stay, I guess.
Okay, cool. You're always welcome to. So yeah, it's just basically like, one thing that I highlighted today was like I saw that someone left in my comment section that she actually put in the My Time to Stand book that it doesn't have the dedication to the daughter anymore. It has just her walking back on it. It's just like, oh, this is just for whoever resonates with my story and Munchausen by proxy people. It's just like, but
Junebug said that Gypsy wanted for nothing when she was with her mother. She wanted for nothing in prison.
yeah.
Hmm.
She again, a lot of this had to do with greed. A lot of this had to do with she wanted that. She thought she was going back to that pink house by herself, in the car, the house, and she has a new grip. Oh, her poor mom has been unalived by this crazy boyfriend. You know what I mean? Now she thought she was gonna be able to grift off the victimhood narrative, and yeah, she
I
didn't.
want to read this comment. It's a while back in the comments. I forgot to read it, but I really wanted to read it. It says Karma Deadly. Karma Deadly says the fact she used an autistic person, and as a mom with my son, whatever she says about him is a lie.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, and everyone's like, "Well, why is Nick so credible?" Because I don't think somebody like, again, if like you do some research into, and again, like autism and Asperger's has like a big spectrum, it's very wide, and but I don't think someone of like Nick's, like capacity with is like lack of social skills would be able to tell elaborate lies like Gypsy could. Gypsy's got the social skills, like Nick is just gonna tell like whatever he knows. You know what I mean? And whatever he was told.
Jasmine, absolutely. Jasmine said Gypsy wanted rugs, and I bet she is still doing rugs.
She probably is.
Absolutely.
She admitted that she was doing them behind bars. She had probably, who knows what she's doing now with Ken, because Ken has a history. Her friend Bree has a history. I think every single one of the people that hangs out in her orbit said they had some rug history. One was just Bree was just arrested like just a few months ago for a lot of rugs in the car that she claims wasn't hers. Of course.
Yeah, I agree,
I was just holding
Sammy.
it for a friend. I was
I
holding it for a
agree.
friend. I swear.
I agree, Sammy. She did groom him. Shannon says
Yeah.
exactly. Right away, she thought she could use her mom's death as another scam.
And what's crazy is like when I can't believe like Gypsy had the balls to go on Dr. Phil and be like, well, I didn't hold a pew pew to his head and make him do it. It's like, well, you didn't need to. He was a willing participant. Why would you need to? It made no sense. It's just like, so wait, so you're going with, well, I didn't, even though I put the weapon in his hand and told him to go do it, well, I didn't physically hold a pew pew to his head and make him do it. Really? You're
It
going with
doesn't
that?
matter. She manipulated him. She was the
Right.
mastermind. Hey, Hot Top.
Right, and was promising this like beautiful future. We're gonna get married and have children and all this other stuff, and offering up her 13-year-old daughter and what the heck ever. It's just like she brought him into this dark little fantasy world, and she could say whatever she wants, but I 100% believe she brought him into that role playing fantasy world, and he went along with it because he loved her. He did it. He said many times, "I would do anything for her," and he did. So and he paid the price for it. Sadly enough. It's unfortunate that he was with that.
Well, they want to push this narrative about the BDSM that she got it from him, but she was
Yeah,
doing it in prison after Nick had already been put in jail.
yeah.
So,
Oh,
I mean, how
absolutely. These are
that
not
makes no sense.
ideations, right? If she was so disturbed by these ideations, and you know what she's doing now? You know what's really funny? Hold on, really quick. Remember? I'll talk about all the unnecessary surgeries that she apparently suffered. Guess what she's doing right now? Getting a whole bunch of unnecessary surgeries in cosmetic stuff. It's like,
Right.
wouldn't that
Yes,
immediately trigger your
dude.
PTSD? Wouldn't
But
that
here's
trigger
my
your
thing,
PTSD?
Justin. We can keep saying these things over and over about like the whole surgeries thing that she's still doing that, but here's the thing.
Well, her
She
medical
doesn't
records prove that
she
wrong.
doesn't care that she's exposing herself because she can't go back to jail. So she doesn't care. Like she's so crazy, like she's a sociopath in my opinion. So
Well,
I think that she doesn't care whether she exposes herself. She
you
doesn't
know,
care because she knows that
She
she
could
can't
go.
get in
She
trouble.
could come into public right now and say, "You want to know what? I did it all. Nick didn't do anything. I was the one that did it, or
She
we
cares,
both
but
did
she
it." She could talk
doesn't.
about she had hands on. She had hands on. She was more hands on with the crime than Nick was, or just as much, and nothing would happen. Again, double
Listen,
jeopardy
Hot
laws have
Top.
already squashed it. because of double jeopardy laws. The double jeopardy law says she can't be charged with it again. So if she came out of the woodwork and said, "Yep, I actually participated in the actual unaliving," she could do that and get away with it.
And that's like
100%.
my whole thing about it. I think that she just doesn't care. Like she could, like what you said, Justin. She could come out and say whatever, and she's not. She knows that she's not going to get in trouble for it because it's already over with. Like
Exactly. I think that there should be. There's no statute of limitations on this, but I think they should get her with attempted murder with the BB pew pew or whatever pellet pew pew. It was a pellet one. It was a pellet pew pew because I read the actual because I have a diagram of Dee Dee's injuries with the police report on it, and she was shot with a pellet pew pew. It's
Right, yeah.
yeah. So it wasn't a BB one. Once again, that was just her downplaying it again.
Yeah,
It was actually
something it
pellet.
actually hurts worse.
It does, yeah. And there was many injuries on Dee Dee. And again, Dee Dee, first thing she does is jump in front of the bus for Gypsy and was like, "Oh, a guy in Walmart."
You know
Walmart
what?
did it.
I hope that she's having nightmares, honestly, about what she did to her mom.
She said she does. I don't think she has the conscience to have nightmares, though. I don't think she has a conscience. I think again,
I want her to have
hey, zombie.
nightmares.
How you doing, zombie? But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like I don't think. Yeah, I think a lot of the fraud stuff was. I think Gypsy was the main driving force in that as well. I think she wanted more Disney. She acts like she has had no childhood. Her whole childhood was stolen from her. She practically lived at Magic Kingdom. That was like I saw like endless trips to Magic Kingdom. Her riding on a lake,
Right.
and then as soon as we had the video of her riding on a lake, she's like, "Oh, I've been to a lake before, but I've never been to a beach." And then she said she's never been to the beach, and I have a picture of her literally on the beach.
You
I'm
know,
just like,
I didn't listen
it's
to the
so
whole call.
contradictory. It's ridiculous.
I wonder if the reason why she was talking to Christy about getting a hold of Dan is because she wanted to do damage control. So she wanted to get a hold of Dan so he can keep her, or so she can keep her quiet. I can't talk. So she can keep him quiet.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think she
Well,
had
yeah, that's the
more.
whole
I think she
control
wanted to
part
actually
of-
be with Dan because again, I think she was planning on sending Nick home by himself. And when Dan basically said, you're not coming to stay with me," that's when she had, well, I guess I have to go with Nick now, and she bought herself a ticket to go with him. But again, it's like, why wouldn't she? If the plan was just to go with him, I think that's proof to me that she was only using Nick for the murder and nothing more or less. Because again, it's like, why would she only buy one ticket for him and not for one for herself? That doesn't make any sense. And she meticulously planned this. So it's not like she just forgot to buy herself a ticket. That's a pretty minor detail that no one would forget. But yeah, like she acts like she had no childhood. And she also said she wasn't allowed to have friends or anything. It's like literally all she talked about in the interrogation was her friends and what they're going to think. So it's just, and how much they care about her. And I don't want to disappoint my friends. I don't want to let my friends down. It's like, but according to her now, I wasn't even allowed to have friends. Again, I've been doing a whole debunk series. I just added one today. I have a lot more coming up. I
I'll
could
go
do them
check
all
it
day.
out. I'll go check it out.
Yeah, I can do them all day. I already have pieced together the contradictions. I just have to add my introductory to it and add more. But I only want to put so many videos out a day. I try to do like maybe 2 or 3 at most with like a picture. And it's crazy. It's just one of these things where and it's like I think Gypsy got off of TikTok to go on a conquest to try to take down content creators because again, Ashley Baby, Audrey, and some other people are being like mass reported. T-Page with the T, Conspiracy, Tiffany, like they're all like what I mean. People from
Moonbug, she does continuously contradict herself.
Well, that's all she is full of is contradictions because when you try to peddle this lie. That was just a court strategy. Her lawyer admitted this was a court strategy. She's like, well, he's like, if we didn't come up with this, defense and all this nonsense, and it's like she would have gone away for life. Why would you think she would be put away for life if she was truly abused? Wouldn't that be a good defense? Why do you think you would lose in court if this was true? Because they know that the prosecution had evidence to the contrary. So again, once all those FOIAs were shown in court, that abuse narrative would have gone right out the window, and Mike Stanfield knew it.
Nicole says my comments have been getting reported. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's happening.
In this live, they are
happening in this live, Nicole. All right. Well, I gotta hop down because I've got a busy day.
If that's the case, I want to get off now before I get mass reported again. So I'm gonna get going for
Thanks
now.
for having me up. It was good seeing you, Hot Top.
All right, you guys. I'll catch you a little bit later.